Earth had been quiet for too long. The stars hung above, silent and distant, while humanity looked up and wondered if they were alone. They weren't, as it turned out, and the universe had been watching them all along. The interstellar ship Frontier drifted through the darkness of space, its engines humming softly as it approached the edge of the TAS-CD system. This was humanity's first real journey beyond their solar system, made possible by the Alcubierre drive that bent space around the vessel. Captain Alan Foster stood on the bridge, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of holographic displays. 12 years of military service had prepared him for many things, but not for what they would soon discover. "Captain, I'm picking up something unusual," said Olivia Martinez, the ship's lead science officer. Her fingers moved quickly across her console as she analyzed the incoming data. "It's a signal, definitely artificial." Foster moved to her station. "Show me." The display lit up with a pattern of pulses that repeated in a complex but clearly deliberate sequence. "Natural phenomena don't create patterns like this," Martinez said. "This is communication." The crew gathered around, eyes wide. This was the moment they had trained for, the discovery humanity had been waiting for since they first looked to the stars. "Can we translate it?" Foster asked. "Working on it now," Martinez replied. "The computer is comparing it to all known linguistic patterns." Hours passed as the Frontier maintained position near the signal source. The crew worked tirelessly, decoding piece by piece what appeared to be a vast database of information. "I think we've got it," Martinez announced finally. "The signal contains data packets. They appear to be records, historical archives." As the translation program worked, the truth began to emerge. The signal wasn't meant for them. It was part of an information exchange between members of a galactic civilization that spanned hundreds of star systems. And more shocking still, they knew about Earth. "Look at this," Martinez said, her voice barely above a whisper. "There are extensive files about our planet." Foster leaned closer to read the translated text. "Earth. Classification. Quarantine zone. Species. Human. Status. Potentially dangerous. Recommended action. Maintain isolation." The crew fell silent as the implications sank in. They weren't the discoverers they thought they were. They were the discovered. "There's more," Martinez continued. "They've been watching us for centuries. They've recorded our wars, our technological development. They've been deliberately avoiding contact." Foster's jaw tightened. "Why? What are they afraid of?" Martinez scrolled through more translated data. "It says humans display unusually aggressive tendencies compared to other spacefaring species. We advance technology too quickly, especially military technology. They decided we were too dangerous to contact." Communications Officer Ryan Green spoke up. "So they just locked us away. Left us in the dark while they explored the galaxy." "Not just that," Martinez said. "They set up warning beacons around our solar system to keep others away from us." Foster paced the bridge, processing this revelation. Humanity had been caged, labeled as dangerous animals not fit for cosmic society. "Does the data say anything about other quarantine species?" he asked. "Very few," Martinez answered. "Most civilizations that develop interstellar travel have already moved past aggressive tendencies. They evolved toward cooperation before reaching the stars. We're an anomaly." Foster looked out at the stars through the viewport. What had seemed like a vast, open frontier now felt like the view from a prison cell. "Download everything," he ordered. "We're taking this back to Earth." As the Frontier turned back toward home, the crew worked to archive the alien database. They had left Earth seeking new worlds and new life. Instead, they found that the galaxy was already full of life that had judged humanity and found them wanting. Earth would have to decide how to respond to this revelation. They had been labeled as conquerors before they'd conquered anything at all. Perhaps it was time to live up to their reputation. The news of first contact hit Earth like a storm. Within days of the Frontier's return, world leaders gathered at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The Grand Assembly Hall buzzed with tension as diplomats and military officials spoke in hushed tones about the revelation that changed everything. Humanity had been judged, quarantined, and written off by the galaxy. President Julia Morgan stood at the podium, her silver hair caught in the harsh lights as she addressed the assembly. "We face an unprecedented situation," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. "For centuries, we believed we were alone. Now we know not only that alien life exists, but that it fears us enough to lock us away." Screens around the hall displayed images from the alien database, records of Earth's history seen through foreign eyes. Our wars, our weapons, our rapid climb from stone tools to nuclear bombs. "The question before us today is simple," President Morgan continued. "How does humanity respond?" George Williams, a decorated general with 30 years of service, was the first to approach the microphone. "We should use this to our advantage," he said. "These aliens fear us without us firing a single shot. That fear gives us power. If they think we're dangerous, let's not disappoint them." His words sent murmurs through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement while others frowned with concern. Next came Kate Johnson, a specialist in international relations. Her approach was different. "We should seek peaceful contact," she argued. "Show them they misjudged us. We've made great progress toward peace on Earth. We could do the same among the stars." The debate raged for days. Some nations pushed for immediate military preparation. Others advocated for a message of peace. The alien database had shown a galaxy with hundreds of civilizations, most more advanced than Earth. How could humanity find its place among them? On the fourth day, Sam Rivera, a young diplomat from Mexico, offered a third option that caught everyone's attention. "What if we neither attack nor beg for acceptance?" he suggested. "What if we use their perception of us as leverage? They already think we're dangerous. We could appear more threatening than we truly are." The room grew quiet as Rivera explained his plan. "We don't need actual conquest. We need the appearance of strength, a bluff on a galactic scale." Scientists and military strategists worked together to assess the idea. Earth had only one interstellar ship. Their weapons were primitive compared to what the alien records described, but if perception was reality. After a week of debate, the United Nations voted. Project Celestial Conquest was approved by a narrow margin. Earth would embrace its reputation and use it to secure a place at the galactic table. President Morgan addressed the world that evening. "Today, humanity chooses a bold path forward. We will not hide our strength or apologize for our nature. We will claim our rightful place among the stars." Behind closed doors, the real work began. Writers crafted intimidating messages. Historians selected footage of military parades and weapons tests. Computer experts prepared to broadcast Earth's declaration to the galaxy. Captain Foster, who had led the Frontier mission, watched these preparations with mixed feelings. "Do you think this will work?" he asked Dr. Martins as they left a planning session. She looked thoughtful. "It's risky. If they call our bluff, we're defenseless. But they've been avoiding us for centuries because they fear what we might do. Now we're going to show them." Foster nodded slowly. "Not what we can do. What they think we can do." As Earth prepared its message, telescopes detected movement at the edge of the solar system. The quarantine beacons had gone silent. Word of the Frontier's discovery had already spread through whatever communication network linked the galactic community. They were watching now, waiting to see what the dangerous humans would do next. Earth was ready to show them. The message needed to be perfect, not just its words, but how it traveled across the stars. In a basement laboratory beneath Denver, engineers Diane Phillips and Victor Ramirez worked day and night on the broadcast technology. "If we use standard radio waves, it could take years to reach the nearest systems," Diane explained to the government officials observing their progress. She pointed to a complex machine humming with energy. But we found something in the alien data. They use quantum entanglement for instant communication across vast distances. Victor nodded as he calibrated the device. We don't fully understand it yet, but we've built a working prototype based on their designs. When we activate this, every communication hub in the galaxy will receive our message at once. Meanwhile, in Hollywood studios usually reserved for blockbuster movies, a team of filmmakers worked on the visual component of humanity's message. They edited historical footage with careful precision. Show the nuclear tests, directed Susan Klein, the project's head producer. But follow them with shots of our fastest technological advancements. We need to show them how quickly we learn and adapt. The editing room screens displayed images of warfare throughout human history, from ancient battles to modern conflicts. These were intercut with rapid technological progress, the Wright brothers' first flight followed by supersonic jets just decades later, early computers evolving into artificial intelligence within a single lifetime. No other species advances this quickly, Susan said. That's what scares them. Let's remind them why. After 3 weeks of preparation, Earth was ready. World leaders gathered in a secure broadcast facility to witness the transmission. President Morgan would deliver the message personally. She stood before the camera, dressed in a simple black uniform designed to look vaguely militaristic. The red flag of Earth, newly designed with a sharp predatory emblem, hung behind her. Begin broadcast, she commanded. Victor activated the quantum transmitter. Lights flashed across its surface as it connected to the galactic communication network. On screens around the room, confirmation appeared. The signal was transmitting across thousands of light years instantaneously. President Morgan looked directly into the camera, her expression stern and unwavering. To all civilizations of the galaxy, this is Earth speaking. We have discovered your quarantine of our world. We have learned of your judgment against us. Today, we break free of these chains and claim our rightful place among the stars. The message continued with carefully chosen words, neither explicitly threatening war nor promising peace. It was the language of conquerors, confident, bold, and slightly menacing. As she spoke, the prepared footage played alongside her image. Earth's military might, technological achievements, and rapid advancement. The message showed humans as adaptable, clever, and above all, dangerous. You have watched us from afar. You have seen our conflicts and called us violent. You have witnessed our progress and labeled us unpredictable. You were right to be cautious. The broadcast shifted to images of Earth's united armed forces standing at attention. What the aliens couldn't know was that many of the weapons displayed were non-functional prototypes, and some of the military bases were elaborate movie sets. We offer you this one warning, President Morgan continued. Recognize humanity as equals in this galaxy. Open your borders, your trade routes, and your knowledge to us. Those who welcome us will find friendship. Those who resist. She let the sentence hang, unfinished. The implication was clear. You have 30 Earth days to respond. We await your answer. The transmission ended. Victor powered down the quantum transmitter. The room fell silent as everyone processed what they had just done. And now we wait, President Morgan said quietly. They didn't wait long. Within hours, the quantum receiver began to light up with incoming signals. The galactic community was responding, just as Earth had hoped, with fear, confusion, and urgent messages between worlds. The bluff had worked. The galaxy was paying attention. The galaxy panicked. Earth's message spread like wildfire across civilizations that had never considered the quarantine planet a threat until now. Quantum communications channels buzzed with urgent exchanges as alien leaders struggled to form a response to the unexpected human declaration. In the White House Situation Room, analysts worked around the clock to translate the incoming signals. The walls were covered with screens displaying alien text, symbols, and occasional video feeds showing strange beings speaking in unknown languages. We're seeing 3 main responses, reported Frank Nelson, head of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Communications Division. He pointed to a holographic map of nearby star systems. These blue markers represent the Solarian Accord, about 40 worlds that want immediate diplomatic relations with Earth. President Morgan studied the map. They're seeking protection. Yes, ma'am. They're smaller civilizations, often caught between more powerful neighbors. They see us as potential allies. Nelson pointed to another cluster of stars marked in red. These represent the Centauri Dominion. They're militaristic, controlling about 60 systems. They're preparing defensive measures against us. And the yellow markers? Asked Defense Secretary Paul Wilson. The Rigelian Consortium. They're cautious, studying us. They've dispatched observer ships to our system, keeping their distance but watching closely. Outside the windows, the night sky looked the same as it always had, but now humanity knew it was being watched by countless alien eyes, measuring Earth's strength and intentions. When can we expect actual contact? President Morgan asked. She received her answer 3 days later. A small vessel entered the solar system, broadcasting a message of peace on all frequencies. It identified itself as a diplomatic ship from the Solarian Accord, carrying Ambassador Zextar of the Viridian Worlds. Earth prepared for its first formal alien reception. The landing site was carefully staged. Military vehicles lined the perimeter, their weapons visibly armed. Soldiers stood at attention, wearing newly designed armor that made them appear larger and more intimidating than necessary. When the alien ship landed in the Nevada desert, cameras broadcast the event worldwide. The vessel was smooth and silver, shaped like a teardrop. A door slid open, and Ambassador Zextar emerged. The alien stood just over 4 feet tall, with blue-tinged skin and large, dark eyes that blinked nervously. 4 slender arms emerged from its torso, each ending in a 6-fingered hand. When it spoke, a translation device at its throat converted the sounds to English. "Greetings from the Solarian Accord," Zextar said, voice trembling slightly. "We come in peace and friendship to the mighty humans of Earth." President Morgan stepped forward, flanked by military officers. She had been coached to appear confident but not overly friendly. "Ambassador Zextar, Earth welcomes you," she said. "We are pleased the Solarian Accord has chosen the path of diplomacy." The ambassador bowed deeply. "The Accord recognizes Earth's right to join galactic society. We wish to establish formal relations immediately." Behind the scenes, Earth officials could hardly believe their plan was working. The aliens truly feared them, despite humanity having only a fraction of the technology found in most spacefaring civilizations. Over the next 2 weeks, more ships arrived. Some came to negotiate, others to observe from a distance. Earth maintained its facade of strength, conducting military exercises, visible to the watching aliens, while diplomatic teams met with various species. In a private meeting room, Ambassador Zextar met with Earth's negotiation team. The aliens' nervousness had not diminished. "Your message caused great concern," Zextar admitted. "Many worlds fear you will do to them what they did to you, isolate and contain them." Lisa Chen, Earth's chief negotiator, leaned forward. "And what does the Solarian Accord fear, Ambassador?" "We fear being caught between powers. The Dominion expands constantly. The consortium controls vital resources. Now Earth emerges, clearly powerful, and—" Zextar hesitated. "Aggressive." "Not aggressive," Lisa corrected smoothly. "Protective of our interests. Those who respect us will find us reasonable allies." The ambassador's large eyes blinked rapidly. "The Accord hopes to be counted among those allies." Earth's bluff continued to hold. The galaxy believed the quarantined planet had emerged as a serious power, ready to take its place among the stars, by force if necessary. No one yet suspected it was all an elaborate performance. Behind closed doors in a secure White House meeting room, President Laura Bennett met with her most trusted advisors. The room had no windows and was regularly swept for listening devices. What they discussed here could never leave these walls. How long can we maintain this bluff? The president asked bluntly. The aliens believe we're a military threat, but the truth is we have exactly one interstellar ship and weapons that wouldn't scratch their armor. Admiral Nathan Cooper cleared his throat. Our intelligence suggests the Centauri Dominion has over 3,000 warships. The smallest one could probably destroy our entire fleet. The truth was sobering. Earth's galactic conquest was built entirely on fear and perception. If any alien civilization decided to test Earth's military strength, the game would be over immediately. We need more time, said Chief Strategist Henry Blackwell, opening a folder of classified documents. Our scientists are studying the alien technology from every diplomatic ship that lands. We're learning, but we're decades behind even the weakest galactic powers. Silence fell over the room as the reality of their situation sank in. Earth had gained a seat at the galactic table through clever intimidation, but they couldn't back it up with actual force. What about the holographic technology? Asked Secretary of Defense Richard Owen. Henry nodded, pressing a button on the table. A 3D projection appeared, showing detailed schematics. This is our best option for maintaining the illusion. The Viridian technology we acquired from Ambassador Zexstar has applications we didn't anticipate. The projection shifted to show massive warships orbiting Earth, entirely fake but impossible to distinguish from real vessels at a distance. We can project an entire battle fleet, Henry explained. Any observers will see exactly what we want them to see. Their scanners will detect metal, energy signatures, everything that suggests real ships. President Bennett studied the projection carefully. And how long until this is operational? 2 weeks. We've already begun constructing the projection platforms in orbit. They look like defensive satellites to alien observers. Admiral Cooper added, we're also staging military exercises designed specifically to be observed by alien scouts. Everything carefully choreographed to suggest capabilities we don't have. The deception was growing more elaborate by the day. Earth was building a Potemkin village on a planetary scale, all facade with nothing behind it. What about the Solarian Accord? Asked the president. They seemed genuinely interested in alliance. That's our best opportunity, Henry replied. They're technologically advanced in certain areas, not militarily powerful, but they have faster-than-light technology far beyond ours. If we can negotiate technology transfers as part of our protection agreement, we might actually develop real capabilities. The meeting continued into the night as they refined their strategy. Earth would maintain its aggressive posture while secretly seeking technology from willing partners. The militaristic display was the shell that hid their desperate race to catch up. 2 days later, Admiral Cooper stood on the deck of an aircraft carrier in the Pacific Ocean. Above him, real fighter jets performed complex maneuvers alongside projected holographic spacecraft that appeared to descend from orbit. Alien observation vessels hovered at the edge of Earth's atmosphere, recording everything. Impressive display, said Captain Jason Wells, standing beside him. The Admiral watched as the holographic ships fired weapons that didn't exist, creating real explosions in the ocean through carefully placed charges. It has to be, Cooper replied quietly. Everything depends on no one calling our bluff. On the far side of the moon, engineers worked frantically to install holographic projectors that would create the illusion of a massive military base. Similar projects were underway across Earth's orbit, each designed to suggest military power that simply didn't exist. Earth wasn't conquering the galaxy. It was performing the greatest magic trick in human history, making everyone believe they could. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council stretched across half a mile, filled with representatives from over 300 worlds. Located on a massive space station at the galaxy's central trading hub, it had hosted peace treaties, trade agreements, and declarations of war throughout its 1,000-year history. Never before had it held an emergency session about a planet most members had never bothered to notice. Until now. Earth representatives Eric Donovan and Sophia Wright walked down the central aisle, deliberately adopting the stern expressions and confident stride they had practiced for weeks. Their uniforms, black with silver trim, had been designed to appear vaguely militaristic without matching any known Earth military. Above all, they had been instructed to act like conquerors, people who expected to be heard. The hall fell silent as they approached the speaker's platform. Hundreds of alien faces turned to watch them. Some with eyes, some with sensory organs humans had no words for. The Earth representatives showed no reaction to the strange gathering. They had been thoroughly prepared through simulations based on alien data. "The representatives from Earth may address the Council," announced the Regelian chairperson, their voice translated through devices embedded in each delegate's seat. Eric stepped forward, surveying the vast chamber with practiced indifference. "Earth thanks the Council for this opportunity," he began, his voice amplified throughout the hall. "We come not to ask for admission to your community, but to inform you of our intention to join it." The subtle difference in phrasing sent murmurs through the assembly. Eric continued, laying out Earth's position, with carefully chosen words that implied strength without making specific threats. Meanwhile, Sophia observed the reactions, noting which species seemed frightened, which seemed angry, and most importantly, which seemed interested. The human strategy depended on finding divisions they could exploit. As Eric spoke, Sophia studied a delegation from a system called Proxima Centauri. Their representatives appeared anxious, conferring with each other and occasionally glancing toward a larger, more imposing delegation across the hall. She made a mental note to approach them later. "Earth offers a choice," Eric concluded. "Accept us as equals, with all the rights and privileges that entails, or face the consequences of continuing to treat humans as a species to be contained and controlled." The assembly erupted in overlapping voices. The chairperson called for order as Eric and Sophia returned to their assigned seats. Over the next hours, various delegations spoke. Some demanded Earth be quarantined again. Others suggested cautious diplomatic relations. The Centauri Dominion speaker warned of Earth's clear, aggressive intent. During a recess, Sophia approached the Proxima Centauri delegates. "Your world seems concerned," she observed, using her translator device. The alien delegate, a tall being with silver skin that rippled with emotion, leaned closer. "The Dominion has been pressuring our system for years. They demand resources we cannot spare. Earth understands the challenges smaller worlds face against larger powers," Sophia replied. "Perhaps we should discuss this further." Similar conversations happened throughout the chamber as Earth's representatives quietly met with smaller, vulnerable worlds. By day's end, a pattern emerged that the Council couldn't ignore. Multiple systems were expressing support for Earth's position. When the session resumed, Eric took the platform again. "Earth has heard the concerns of this Council. We have also heard from many worlds who feel unprotected in the current galactic order. To these worlds, we offer an alternative." He outlined a proposal. Earth would provide protection to smaller worlds against the larger powers that exploited them. In exchange, these worlds would support Earth's full integration into galactic society. "This is outrageous," the Centauri representative interrupted. "Earth threatens us all, and now seeks to build a coalition." "Not a threat," Eric corrected. "An opportunity. Earth asks only for what every world deserves: respect and recognition." By the session's end, 17 systems had formally aligned with Earth, not through conquest, but through diplomacy disguised as strength. The bluff was working better than anyone on Earth had dared hope. That night, Eric sent an encrypted message back to Earth. "Phase 1 complete. They're dividing just as we predicted. The galaxy fears us, but many need us even more." 5 years had passed since Earth's dramatic entrance onto the galactic stage. What had begun as a desperate bluff had evolved into something no one expected. The diplomatic vessel Horizon glided through space toward the Viridian homeworld, its mission both routine and historic. Captain Patricia Caldwell stood on the bridge, watching the blue-green planet grow larger in the viewscreen. Unlike the first human ship to leave the solar system, The Asterisk Horizon Asterisk featured technology from 6 different alien worlds. Its hull contained Rigelian metals, its engines used Proximan energy principles, and its navigation system came from Viridian engineers. "We're being hailed, Captain," reported Communications Officer Ben Harris. "Put it through," Caldwell replied. The screen showed Ambassador Zextar, now a familiar face to human diplomats. The Viridian's nervous demeanor from first contact had long since faded into comfortable familiarity. "Captain Caldwell, welcome back to Viridia." The ambassador greeted her. "Your arrival is perfectly timed. The Technology Exchange Committee meets tomorrow." "We look forward to it, Ambassador," Caldwell responded with a genuine smile. After the call ended, Caldwell turned to her first officer, Kyle Walters. "Prepare the disclosure documents. It's time." Walters nodded, understanding the significance. After 5 years of alliance, the Earth Council had decided certain Viridian officials should know the truth about humanity's conquest of the galaxy. That evening, in a secure room beneath the Viridian capital city, Captain Caldwell sat with Ambassador Zextar and 3 Viridian leaders. The walls were shielded against all listening devices. "What I'm about to tell you must remain absolutely confidential," Caldwell began. "When Earth first contacted the galaxy, we had exactly 1 interstellar ship. Our weapons could barely leave our atmosphere. We had no fleet, no planetary shields, nothing that could pose any threat to even the smallest galactic power." The Viridians stared in disbelief. "You were bluffing?" Zextar asked, his voice a mix of shock and admiration. "Completely," Caldwell confirmed. "The warships observers saw in our orbit were holograms. The military bases on our moon were empty shells. We had nothing but confidence and careful staging." The oldest Viridian, Council Leader Maxorn, began to laugh, a bubbling sound unlike any human laughter. "The most feared newcomers in the galaxy, and you couldn't have defended yourselves against a trading vessel. That's why we needed allies," Caldwell explained. "We offered protection we couldn't provide to gain technology we desperately needed. Over time, as we acquired real capabilities, our agreements became genuine." The revelation spread carefully over the next year, first to the closest Earth allies, then to neutral powers. The Centauri Dominion was the last to learn that they had been frightened into diplomatic relations by elaborate special effects and bold speeches. Strangely, the truth enhanced rather than damaged Earth's standing. What had begun as fear of human aggression transformed into respect for human ingenuity. Earth hadn't conquered through force, but through clever diplomacy and psychological insight. 10 years after first contact, a new galactic council chamber was inaugurated on a space station orbiting Earth. Representatives from 87 worlds attended the ceremony. President Carlos Diaz, Earth's 3rd leader since the beginning of the conquest, addressed the gathering. "What started as humanity's desperate gambit for survival has become a new foundation for galactic cooperation," he said. "We came to the stars pretending to be conquerors because we believed that was what the galaxy would understand. We discovered instead that many worlds shared our desire for a more balanced power structure. In the decades since Earth's emergence, the rigid hierarchies that had defined galactic politics for centuries had begun to shift. Smaller worlds found their voices. Larger powers faced new limitations. Earth had never fired a shot in anger against any alien civilization. Its only conquest had been of fear itself, both the galaxy's fear of humans and humanity's fear of being forever quarantined on their home planet." As the ceremony concluded, Ambassador Zextar approached President Diaz. "You know," the Viridian said thoughtfully, "the old records that labeled humans as dangerous weren't entirely wrong, just not in the way anyone expected." President Diaz smiled. "Sometimes the most powerful weapon is convincing others you have one." 20 years after Earth's grand entrance onto the galactic stage, humanity had become an integral part of interstellar society. What began as a desperate bluff had transformed into something remarkable. Earth now stood as a mediator between older powers, a hub of cultural exchange, and a symbol of diplomatic innovation. The observation deck of New Horizons Station offered a breathtaking view of Earth from orbit. Daniel Chen, grandson of one of the original planners of the conquest, stood watching ships from a dozen worlds arrive and depart from the massive space platform. Hard to believe it all started with holographic warships and carefully edited videos, said a voice behind him. Daniel turned to see Admiral Maria Rivera, one of the highest-ranking officers in Earth's now real Space Defense Force. My grandfather used to say the same thing, Daniel replied with a smile. He never expected the bluff to work so well or last so long. The Admiral joined him at the viewport. Below them, Earth glowed blue and green against the blackness of space. Around it orbited genuine defense platforms and actual military vessels, not the illusions of 20 years ago, but the real manifestations of Earth's new position. The Galactic Historical Society is opening their exhibit today, Maria said. They asked if you would attend as a representative of the Chen family. Daniel nodded. His grandfather had died 5 years ago, but his role in crafting Earth's strategy remained legendary. The exhibit hall occupied a large section of the station's cultural wing. Visitors from dozens of worlds moved among displays showing the evolution of human-alien relations. One popular section showed side-by-side comparisons, the fake fleet projections Earth had used versus the actual ships they eventually developed with shared technology. Near the center stood a simple glass case containing the original quantum transmitter that had sent Earth's first message to the galaxy. Beside it played a continuous loop of President Morgan's historic broadcast. Daniel paused before a wall of quotes from various species reacting to the revelation that humans had bluffed their way into galactic society. Humans didn't conquer with weapons, but with psychology. Perhaps that's more impressive. Rigelian High Council. We feared they would destroy worlds. Instead, they'd reconstructed alliances. Centauri diplomatic corps. They understood something we had forgotten. Perception often matters more than reality. Viridian Archives. A tall insectoid being approached Daniel, its translator device emitting a pleasant tone before speaking. You are Chen's descendant, it asked. I am historian Kizarik from the Arcturus Collective. Yes, Daniel Chen, he confirmed. My grandfather was part of the original planning committee. The historian's compound eyes shifted colors in what Daniel recognized as excitement. Fascinating. In our studies, we found that many species believed your strategy couldn't possibly work. The odds against success were astronomical. Daniel smiled. That's what makes it so quintessentially human. We specialize in beating impossible odds. Later, Daniel attended the formal ceremony marking the exhibit's opening. Representatives from across the galaxy gathered to commemorate what many now call the diplomatic revolution. What had begun as humanity's desperate gamble had ultimately reshaped galactic politics. The Rigelian chairperson addressed the crowd. 20 years ago, Earth taught the galaxy an important lesson. They showed us that true strength lies not in weapons or territory, but in courage and ingenuity. Their conquest conquered nothing but our preconceptions. As applause filled the hall, Daniel thought about how differently things might have gone. If Earth had truly tried to threaten its way into galactic society, or if the deception had been discovered too early, humanity might have faced real isolation or worse. Instead, the fake conquerors had become genuine partners. Earth's warning to the galaxy, "We're here to conquer," had evolved into something more profound. We're here to connect. The stars that once seemed so distant now served as bridges between worlds. Humanity had found its place among them, not through force, but through the uniquely human talent for turning weakness into strength.